change your narrative. Now, I'm not saying be a liar or, be something that you're not. I'm just saying that your past doesn't have to necessarily be you. Your past is what you've learned for. Your past is important. I'm not saying forget your past because you wouldn't be here without your past, right? And welcome to yet another episode of Reno's Rants here on the Roughnecks Podcast. Make sure to go to roughneckspodcast.com. There's some merch, sign up for the newsletter, all kinds of cool stuff on there. Make sure we're going there. But on today's episode, so I heard this saying, somebody said, I don't know, I was probably scrolling something and heard it, and it was awesome. And I'm going to butcher kind of what they said, but the gist of it is that you have the ability to change people's perspective of you, right? And what I mean is that everybody has a different perspective of you, right? One person may see you as this type of person. One person may see you as this type of person. Another person may think that these are your beliefs or these are what you like to do, okay? The only person in control of the true narrative, take a guess, is you. All right? The only person in control of that narrative is you. Okay, you could have lived a horrible first couple of chapters of your life, right? You could have made all kinds of mistakes. You could have made a bunch of enemies, right? But if you meet somebody new, guess what? Those are old chapters. You get to create new chapters. You get to tell the story. Now, you could reflect back on those chapters, but that is a different you. Okay, 10 years ago, just think about yourself 10 years ago. Are you even close to the same person? Like maybe a little bit here and there, but you've grown up, I hope. You've learned a lot of things about just life in general in those 10 years. Okay, you are a different person. So if someone wants to judge you on your past, that's on them. That's on them. And honestly, that's where your chapter needs to end with that person. Because if they don't see the true side of you, or they're just stuck in that perspective that they have of you, that's not a friend. That's not a person I want to be around. Okay, if they're always just going to see you in a certain way, you know what? Next. Don't even waste your time. Don't even waste your energy on a person like that, because don't let them control your narrative. You are in control of that, right? Another thing is sometimes you don't even know that people are getting, sort of a vibe from you or sort of a perspective from you. If you're out with your buddies, right? You're in a group and one of your buddies is just being a jackass, right? And people on the outside looking like, look at that idiot. It's like, look. Then they say, look at these group of idiots. So their perspective just has already been determined on you, and you haven't even done anything. It's from somebody that you're associated with. You hear it all the time, associate yourself with the right people. For that reason. Do you want to get wrapped up in some negative perspective because of something somebody else did? Like, that's not you. That's not what your narrative is. That's not what you necessarily stand for. So, be careful who you're with. Know your audience. Know where you're at. Know if you need to be a little bit more professional. Know if, I can let loose a little bit. I can have fun with my buddies. There's an audience always watching. You know what I mean? There's an audience always watching. That's super important, especially in business. If you're around your coworkers and you're out saying some stuff, that's when HR comes involved. Be careful. But you never know who's going to be around you. You never know who is looking for you. You don't know who's looking for you in your narrative. Your narrative might get passed over if your one chapter that you're doing is bad. Be ready for opportunities. And being ready doesn't necessarily mean doing all the studying and stuff. It's sometimes just holding yourself to a certain level that you want them to see. Like you want them to learn about you. You want to show your true side and what your book brings to them. Only you have the ability to either create your narrative or change your narrative. Now, I'm not saying be a liar or be something that you're not. I'm just saying that your past doesn't have to necessarily be you. Your past is what you've learned for. Your past is important. I'm not saying forget your past because you wouldn't be here without your past, right? But just know that you don't have to keep living that, I guess, is really what I'm trying to say. You don't have to you don't have to keep rewriting old chapters. Create a new one. Is it going to be hard? Of course it is. If you're writing a book, and actually putting pen to paper is the hardest part. You have all these ideas up in your head, but once you go to do it, you realize how hard it is. And that's okay. It should be hard. Writing your book needs to be hard. That's what makes you unique. And if you got a passion for something that not a lot of people do, or you think that, you think a certain way, or that you're crazy, or you're whatever, maybe that's your superpower. I don't know. Maybe that's what differentiates you from everybody else. So don't be ashamed of that. Use that. Use it to your advantage. If it's part of you, okay. Yeah, that's it then. It's part of you. You got to learn to control it. You got to learn to, again, use it to your advantage. But anyway, hey, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of people looking at you. Sometimes never know when they're going to be looking at you. All right. You're going to meet a lot of new people in your life. What's that first impression going to be? What kind of narrative do you want them to know about you? Right? So anyway, I think I'm going to cut it there. But hey, again, make sure Roughnecks Podcast, shoot over Q&A questions. Actually, you know what, Cole? Hey, after you listen to this, I got a question for you that I want you to answer, because I was thinking about it earlier today. I was doing laundry, of course. So my question is, do you load the washer up as much as it can go to save loads of laundry, so you don't have to do so many of them, to save detergent, to save whatever? But you kind of are risking if everything's going to be as clean, right? So give, take. Or do you not fill it up all the way and ensure that the clothes are going to be clean, but you're going to have to do more loads of laundry, right? Which one are you? I guess if I were to answer that question, I load it up, baby. I pack that thing with clothes, because we go through laundry like nothing. I mean, I got like stuff I sleep in, and then I got my workout stuff, and I got my work stuff, and then I come home and I got like my chill clothes. So I'm a huge, I go through a lot of laundry. I go through a lot of laundry. All right, there's my question. Hey, Reno's Rant, Roughnecks Podcast. I'm out.
Thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode of the Roughnecks Podcast. If you liked today's episode, then please be sure to share it with a friend. You can follow the Roughnecks Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Roughnecks Podcast. Head over to roughneckspodcast.com and grab yourself some Roughnecks merch. Until next time, make sure you grab the bull by the horns and take control of your life. Roughnecks, out.